Hey everyone, it's Amy Sherman from MLive and Michigan's Best. And on today, May 18th, Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced that she's going to be reopening restaurants in the UP and in 17 counties in northern Michigan. This is exciting news with some trepidation for owners because now they've got to figure out what the heck they're going to do. So I've got Chris Wanry with me, who is family has owned the Cove restaurant in Leland for 34 years, and they were picked last year as Michigan's best waterfront restaurant. Chris, welcome.
Hi, how you doing, Amy? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. Now, you guys are coming off of your winter season when you're closed, so typically you reopen in May, correct?
Yeah, we always are open for Mother's Day. That's kind of like a big tradition for us that unfortunately we weren't able to do this year. We were kind of getting ready to do, takeout this weekend in some sort of capacity and trying to figure out how we were going to do that as a restaurant, and got word from the news that looks like things might change. So we're quickly trying to pivot and figure out what kind of plan we can execute this weekend.
And when we say pivot, we really mean you guys were kind of caught a little bit by surprise in the sense. Yeah. And so you and your I'm assuming your dad, Rick, and your brother, Sean, you said you got into the situation room at the Cove to figure out what to do next. What did that look like? What did you guys talk about?
Well, we were kind of just sitting down to have our own lunch break, and got word and started moving quickly. So one of the first things we did was get a short list of employees, because right now we only have our really tight group of employees that we kind of use to open up the restaurant and keep on year round. So we got on the phone quickly and started making some calls. Luckily, that was only an hour ago, and we already have some people on board for this weekend. We're not sure what capacity we're even going to run at yet. So there's lots of unknowns, but we do have people. We already had the restaurant cleaned and ready to go. So we have lots of different options. We have outdoor space that we hope to utilize if that's the case and we can safely do so. But yeah, there are a lot of unknowns. So I keep thinking in my head, we're going to crawl, then walk, then run, and kind of really get moving here. So,
well, I'm sure that you're not alone in your uncertainty as to how to move forward. At least you had the advantage of having already cleaned the restaurant, because I keep thinking about all the restaurants in northern Michigan and the UP who are just coming out of their winter slumber, and they've got to do everything by Friday at noon.
Yeah, we decided that we were just going to go through the motions, essentially, do what we do every single year, clean everything top to bottom, just to be ready for any situation, and so that we could serve the community the best we could when we could understand better what was going on.
Now, for people who are unfamiliar with the Cove, I feel very unfortunate for you because it was Michigan's best waterfront restaurant. But give a little taste as to where you guys are located and what your restaurant is like, Chris.
So we're located right directly in between Lake Leland and Lake Michigan. We overlook Lake Michigan, the south and north Manitou Islands, right at the head of Fishtown. Luckily, we do have a lot of outdoor space, like I mentioned, decks, and I think that might be the best first option of moving forward here as we understand the guidelines better and can kind of devise a best and safe plan to move forward.
I think that's going to be such a hard thing for restaurants, because if you're supposed to be operating at 50% capacity with 6 feet between people and tables, I mean, for a place like yours, you guys cram a lot of tables into your restaurant. How many people do you typically seat?
So we have 2 levels. Between the 2 levels, we can easily have 350 seats. We will, we're talking starting as small as possible, maybe 10% of that, and kind of move forward. Honestly, we're going to pull a lot of tables. We're going to go over cautious in the beginning. So just kind of small mom and pop. We are a big operation, but we're going to scale it down to a really small one.
I got it. So I would assume that your advice to your fans is to be patient and maybe to let you kind of get your sea legs underneath you.
Yeah, that's one thing we plan to do we're planning to do is bring back some of our staples. So we're famous for clam chowder. I know that I've already gotten word that people have been waiting for that all winter. the Chubby Mary. We called our source, and we are getting some chubs in this weekend. So we'll have clam chowder, Chubby Mary, and cheeseburgers 100%. And then we're also working on some of our seafood order. And if we do that in takeout or a small limited amount of people in the restaurant, we at least will have our staples that people have been waiting all winter for. And so we're happy to be able to deliver that.
I love that you're going to have the clam chowder, because when we came to visit you for Michigan's Best Waterfront, you told us that people in the fall actually come and stockpile it by the quart to freeze all winter long. So they must be out.
Yeah, and we're also looking at some unique packaging for that so that we can sell that to go, and people can have that at home as well if they like. But we want to get people fed. That's what we do. So we want to get back to feeding people and serving people in the safest way we possibly can.
Well, you guys certainly do feed people really well. What other safety procedures do you think you're going to put into place, maybe for your staff as well?
So we haven't devised an entire list. We're already really food conscious, and food safety is always the top of our list. Masks, I think, are going to be on the top of that list. Obviously, hand washing. The list is going to be long, essentially.
Do you feel a little overwhelmed with trying to get this all done by Friday at noon?
Yes.
How have you guys been approaching this as a team at the Cove in Leland?
Well, first off, we've been trying to get things ready for the flood. Is what we've been preparing for.
Well, that's a whole different issue that you're dealing with. I mean, you guys must feel like it's Armageddon up there. It's terrible.
The water, we had 4 inches of rain, and so it's flowing over the dam right now, and some of the shanties on the other side are starting to flood. We're still in good shape, but not for long.
How are you approaching that part? I mean, in addition to having a pandemic to deal with, you're dealing with the flood. So what are you doing to prepare for the flood?
We're trying to secure things and set up some waterproof panels for the inside bar, and then we just got to let it take its course and hope that it rolls back or something positive happens soon. So, but as far as reopening, we're in the process of it now. We'll have a minimum staff, minimum menu, baby steps first, so that we can just, set up some tables and set up disposable we have to do now, and there's just a whole lot of things that have to be thought out and changed. So you minimize contact, but I guess we got to take care of our safety, our staff safety, and then our guests. The virus didn't go away.
Right. So it's still there. Exactly.
We're on its terms now. It's like we stayed away from it before, so it's a whole different ball game that we're dealing with. So there's not a lot of things that we do different, but other than going to table with masks and gloves and protocols. So we're bringing in a minimum staff to start with to make sure that we execute properly. So it's a whole new world. I've been in it for 30, 40 years. Okay. I mean, a whole new turf here now.
Yeah, you've never experienced anything like this. I mean, you guys have had flooding before and stuff, but never anything along these lines.
Doing huge numbers, okay, that we were before. It's nothing compared to this. This is a greater challenge than anyone can imagine, financially, everything. So,
What are your guys' thoughts on maybe second homeowners coming up to their cottage for the summer, tourists coming up? How do you feel about that influx of people who are not from the Traverse City region coming up and staying?
Uncomfortable. It's a challenge, okay, but it's how we do our business. So it's like, we know most of these people. We've known them for 20 years. They're friends. They travel to their summer homes, and it's like they are our business. So, it's like we just have to be, real careful for us and for them. we don't want to make any mistakes here.
Right. What would be your advice to people who are thinking about coming up to Leland, to Fishtown to visit? Do you suggest they all come this weekend? Do you think maybe wait a little bit? I mean, what would you say?
I say, that they opened the gates here real soon next to what is traditionally a busy holiday. And it's like baby steps, just like we're doing. We're just opening up now for the local people that might already been here and, have cabin fever for months. So it's like, a huge influx. We won't be able to serve them because we're going to have minimum seats. So it's not going to make a huge difference for us,
So, yeah.
Everything is minimized and we can't let them in here, can't do it. And so it's like, there won't be room for them.
Yeah. So, to that question, we can only control what we can control. And so we're going to stay really small.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on whoever decides to come up here, we're going to stay really small and only serve a very, very limited amount of people.
I gotcha. And that's good to know. So people, if they are going up maybe, or they're already in Leland or in the area and they want to come and try the Cove, call your order in ahead, maybe take it home, maybe enjoy your seafood soup at home, or prepare to sit in very limited seating, right?
Yeah, it's very limited because we're not going to be staffed up to do, both to, carry out and so on. So it's like we're just firing up now. We got to punch in grocery orders and figure out what's available because there is supply chain disruption. But we will have Chubby Marys.
Well, I heard that. I'm so excited.
We're going to have Chubby Marys. Okay, got my contact. He's excited about. We're going to have Chubby Marys, and those aren't leaving here. So
thank goodness. Those are the best. And for those who've never had a Chubby Mary, we'll be sure to put a picture up so you can see it. But this is one of those pure Michigan drinks, homemade Bloody Mary mix. It comes with a smoked chub in it. And then, as Chris likes to say, he gives you all the stuff you need, all the accoutrements you need to essentially make like a little mini appetizer out of it. It comes with a little plate, right, Chris? Some crackers.
Yeah, I call it, that's your workspace. Then you get your sides, and then you dig in there, and it's an appetizer and a drink all in one.
It's so very good, and it really is your signature dish, which I love. One of my questions was about ordering your supplies. I mean, we're talking Friday at noon is when the order is lifted. What are you guys finding? Are things running out that you normally would have, or just you're under the gun and so it's hard to get that order in quick enough? Did you get a liquor order? Do you have beer?
I'm gonna defer to experience on this.
Yeah, we prepared for this moment, so it's like we've been prepared for this, okay, in so many ways, not in the physical handling at the table and the complexity of it. My son is downstairs calling me out on every decision I make, so I have to watch what I say and do. So, but we're, as far as food wise, we're going to plug in an order, but we use all fresh foods. We make a lot of things from scratch, but it's like just finding certain things from, we'll be able to get whitefish and perch and things of that nature. We haven't, I hope we haven't punched in all the orders, but these guys won't let me down. Should have been their number one customer. My chub guy's there, says I'm all about it. I got it. So they're excited to hear from me. So, but we just got to assemble things, and it's like I have no idea what to punch in for a grocery order to. We are not going to gear up to 50% of volume or 25% of it or anything like that, because we need to bring in our employees. We've got no training, to speak of. We've got 1 or 2 days to go through our protocol and make sure we do things right. But we certainly are welcoming our guests, people that travel to their summer homes and so on. It's, but it's, we want to do them right. And it's, they're going to have to understand that it's a real challenging time for restaurant people. It's like, you just open Dracula's casket and let him out into the sun. Like trapped in here, and the governor opens the door. Oh, it's bright out here. Now what do I do?
Right. So even though, even though the governor issues this open up, decision, it doesn't mean that all the restaurants are going to be ready to go and raring to go at full capacity, or
Well,
even 50% capacity.
I don't know. I don't know that the places in Leland, I think, for the most part will, but, we're doing things. We have a lot of outdoor seating. So we can handle and can meet capacity for far more than what we're going to do. But we're just not going to do it. I got to get it right. There's not much of a dress rehearsal here.
I agree. Well, we appreciate your hard work on working to get the Cove open. You guys are Michigan's best waterfront restaurant. If people want to get more information about the Cove, like your current hours and the situation, where should they go, guys?
Well, that's a great question. On my level of expertise, I'm going to go do what I do and clean things up.
So
thank you, Rick.
Once we get rolling, we're going to use our Facebook as the primary means to get quick information to people. Just it'll be faster than our being able to update our website. So we're going to try and keep people up to date on our Facebook.
That's smart. It's probably the quickest way for people to get up-to-date information. So right now you're planning on Friday at noon. Is this correct?
Friday at noon, we will have some sort of operation. What exactly it looks like, we're gonna keep working on that throughout the week.
You're gonna go back to the situation room.
We're gonna go back to the situation room and back to employee safety. So it was hard to answer just because we don't exactly know yet, but we're going to work on a serious list of protocols. And I think the number one thing to keep people safe right off the bat is we're going to keep a really small staff. So keep it really small. That way we can train people. They're all veterans that they know how to do the restaurant stuff. So that way we can really work on training how to prepare for the extra precautions via COVID. So we're gonna take that one as we come. I know that I can't answer it completely, full down the list of here's our protocol, because we're gonna continue to do research, figure out what guidelines are set, and then continue on from there, and then exceed those guidelines for employee safety, customer safety, our own safety. So
I like it. Well, it sounds like across the board, reopening is going to really be a process, and there's a lot of unknowns, but you guys are going to work through it as you go. Yeah. And everybody expect to not have the exact same Cove as normal, but another version of it.
That's the good thing about restaurant people. All restaurants, they're very adaptable and very resilient. So we'll all figure out how to get through this as an industry.
I love it. Well, Chris Ranoy from the Cove, Michigan's best waterfront restaurant, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to see you, Amy. Thank you.
Good to see you too.
When we're ready.
We will. If you want to get more information, head to MLive.com.